Missouri, where a 2-year-old died earlier this week. 36-year-old Michaela Chisholm, is charged in the boy's death. Officers found him Wednesday at a home on 65th and Paseo. They took another young boy to the hospital. Doctors found meth in both of their blood. Neighbors told us that they called police, and tonight Andres Gutierrez shows us what they want to see moving forward.
Even before KCPD officers found a 2-year-old boy dead inside 6500 Paseo on Wednesday, they were well aware of the address. Through a records request, KSHB 41 learned that from April to this week, officers were called to the corner house 20 times.
And so as far as all these calls and the police activity, got the neighborhood nervous.
A majority of the calls for disturbances and suspicious activity. Mind you, the log doesn't include the number of times they were there for undercover operations. Robert Hickman remembers when officers recovered 3 stolen U-Hauls.
And they tried to park there, and I told them, hey, take it down the street. They said it was legal. I said, no, you've been using that U-Haul every day. Nobody does that. And then they had a police chase go to that house.
The increase in calls line up with what neighbors say was an influx of drug users coming and going from the house.
Because when I come out the door and we look and see all that trash and stuff, that's not us. That's the only house on the block that does that.
According to property records, the house is a rental. Neighbors say its last known tenant had a voucher from the housing authority. We also followed up with the housing authority, who says they can't get a hold of the tenant or the landlord. The tenant has their number disconnected, and the landlord won't pick up their phone. So the executive director tells me that they now plan to send official letters to the landlord, letting them know about the situation.
It's a shame that that has to happen before somebody tightens up the cracks.
With the child dying at the suspected drug house, Hickman wants it cleaned up and cleared out. Until then, he and his neighbors will continue to report anything out of the ordinary.
It's all of us, and we all got to do our civic duties, and if we don't, there's no community, there's no neighborhood.
In Kansas City, Andres Gutierrez, KSHB 41